would be appropriate to demonstrate their in peaceful possession. And some people have used that. I mean, I've heard some pretty good reports come back from some of that. But in the meantime, we've had to deal with these unlawful detainer actions. And so one of the subject matters and so forth that will be discussed at the seminar upcoming will be how to defeat an unlawful detainer action. And we've had some very good results with what we've been doing with that. Now, on the converse of that, there has been a lot of talk, I mean, across the internet and across the news and everything, certainly about, the promissory notes.
Yes.
And we again, we need to go back, folks, and study negotiable instrument law. Briefly in the history, back in the 1800s, they had what was called the negotiable instruments law, which described the various documents that were used to facilitate commerce, in particular negotiable instruments. Now, certainly since we're operating under the Uniform Commercial Code, which is simply the codification of negotiable instruments and so forth, we're still operating with negotiable instruments. And so it's important to understand how those negotiable instruments work. And so there's been a lot of excitement across the country about going into court, demanding the promissory notes and so forth, to basically as a defensive maneuver.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that we're going to demonstrate in Los Angeles coming up here is how to use a unlawful detainer from the plaintiff position. Now, for instance, let's say, for instance, that somebody, has gotten involved in a mortgage, and they have tendered a promissory note on the mortgage, and the thing disappeared as they suppose. And probably it has. In very few instances it has not, but in most instances it has. I won't go into all that just yet. But anyway, you have to understand that the maker of the promissory note is the guy who signed it and tendered it. And the promissory note in that instance is an asset to the maker, you see. It is not an asset to the bank. The bank is simply going to use that promissory note to produce the funds to pay off the seller, to entice the seller to leave the property so the new buyer can take possession. And that's what the bank does for you. It's a very good thing. But in any event, let's say, for instance, there's been some hanky-panky going on with promissory notes and foreclosures and all these kind of things going on.
Yes.
Certainly, as a remedy to stop an unlawful detainer, we can show how to do that. But we're also going to demonstrate how to go back and use an unlawful detainer on the note.
Wow.
Now, what we're suggesting is the use of a habeas corpus. Now, habeas corpus, a lot of people don't understand habeas corpus. They think that's for getting prisoners out of jail and all that kind of stuff. And it is. But the purpose of habeas corpus is to have the other party produce the documents that allow them the legal right to restrain the liberty of someone else.
Yes. So,
let's say, for instance, we have a mortgage situation going on here, and they've had, court battles and all these kind of things. I'm suggesting that what could be done, and it will certainly prove a point, is to do a habeas corpus. Now, a habeas corpus is a civil action to be heard before a magistrate. And so a habeas corpus should precede any civil action. But anyway, on the habeas corpus, we would be asking for a return on the writ, and in particular, we would be having the respondent bring in the original promissory note. Now, in 95% of the cases, certainly that cannot be done. So, as a result of the habeas corpus, the bank or whoever, the debt servicer, is going to have to say, or otherwise, excuse me, let me get a drink here.
Yes, go right ahead. Speaking with Winston Shrout.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So on the habeas corpus, when you are asking for the bank or whoever to produce the original note, the original mortgage, and the original deed of trust, so forth, and they cannot produce it, what does that mean? That means they don't have it. And if they don't have it, then they cannot execute upon it. You go back again to your negotiable instrument law. In order to execute a note, for instance, basically what it means is that you have to be the holder in due course of the note.
Yes.
Now, when they show up under the habeas and say we don't have the note, and they try to go and execute a note they don't have, that's called a tort. And so we can take out after that. But what I was trying to show with the habeas is that they will show up and say we don't have it. Okay, you don't have the note. So now we have the evidence of that. Then we have an order from the judge, stating that.
Well, you know what, Mr. Shrout, I'm so sorry to jump in. We are just at the top of the hour.
Okay.
Oh, yes, this will be a great place to pick up amazing, timely, amazing information, Mr. Shrout. Thank you so much for continuing to do what you do and to bring it down to L.A. again. All right, darlings, we're getting ready to go into the second hour of Winston Shrout. His website is www.wssic.com. That's Winston Shrout, solutionsincommerce.com. He's coming to town November 5th through the 7th. Here's a phone number to call for information, 503-538-7100, 503-538-7100. Call, get the information, get your tickets. I hope it's not sold out because there's so many of you that need to be there, or somebody that needs to be there. Okay, folks, stay tuned. Stay tuned for the second hour of Radio Alchemy on KPFK 90.7 FM, Los Angeles. Welcome back to the second hour of Radio Alchemy on KPFK 90.7 FM Los Angeles, 98.7 FM in Santa Barbara County. Well, obviously, I have to update that little ID because we are back on in beautiful San Diego. If we can get past that illegal transmitter down Tijuana blasting bad music over our amazing signal here, but we are in other parts of Southern California, which is very exciting. Thank you, new family members, and we hope you are enjoying this late-night radio show called Radio Alchemy. I'm your host, Eben Ray. On the lines, we have Winston Shrout. His website is wssic.com, and that stands for Winston Shrout Solutions in Commerce. And this show really is about, we sit there and we've looked at the troublemakers, we've looked at the theys, the thems, and all that stuff. But the great thing is that there are individuals that look at you, that try and decipher and break down all of the Maya and craziness that surround you and help to manage it for you, to remind you of your own personal power and your ability to choose through wisdom and knowledge. And we have a very knowledgeable, dedicated, amazing man on the lines, Winston Shrout, who is going to be speaking at the lovely 4 Point Sheraton at the LAX, by LAX, and that's going to be on November 5th, 6th, and 7th. And as I understand, they're going to have a very, very special guest speaker. I don't know how much we can talk about that, but it's going to be a very amazing event, and it's going to be focusing on mortgage solutions, and that's where we were at as we were wrapping up the first hour with Winston Shrout. And your solutions, Mr. Shrout, how amazing is